Mercury, the planet of ideas, brainstorming, and communication, returns to its home sign of Virgo this week. This is good news. From August 4th to August 25th, Mercury returns to one of their home signs, Virgo. But wait, there's more. Mercury will then enter Libra, but then retrograde back into Virgo. That's going to be from September 23rd through October 10th. So the good news is that we get a prolonged period of Mercury in one of its home signs. But the bad news is that we have another Mercury retrograde. And it's not always bad. I can't stand all the Mercury retrograde hate. Mercury retrogrades are really helpful actually, in a lot of different ways. But it is true that Mercury retrogrades in their home sign do tend to be a little bit more challenging. And we can remember this because the last one was in Gemini, at least part of it, at least half of it. So we remember this well. And I remember having to do things twice, having to retrace my steps multiple times like clockwork. So we can expect to do the same coming up. Interestingly, and I want to bring this up here, is that, and this is far in the future, but on September 9th, Mercury will be stationing retrograde at 8 degrees Libra. Right now, on the day that I'm recording this, Jupiter is stationing retrograde at 8 degrees Aries. So if you have a planet at 8 degrees of these cardinal signs, or Cancer or Capricorn, this is a planet representing an area of life where we're taking a step back, we're shifting our perspective, we're redoing something. So we're bringing back in this energy of redoing. I think Mercury retrogrades are really helpful for problem solving, troubleshooting, and helping us find a better way, a more efficient way around it. Speaking of efficiency and problem solving, back to Mercury and Virgo, these are things that Mercury and Virgo is really, really good at. So we're going to make the most out of this transit in this first August stretch, the one I mentioned from the 4th of August through the 25th. This is going to be the easiest part of Mercury and Virgo. There is an opposition with Neptune to contend with later in August. We'll get to that when we get there. But for the most part, Mercury in Virgo is amazing at being methodical, at coming up with a plan, at thinking things through and finding other solutions. It's very open-minded. It's geared on problem solving and efficiency. And Virgo is an incredibly thoughtful sign. It's largely motivated by, how can I help someone out? How can I be of service? How can I make someone else's experience a little bit easier? How can I come up with systems and solutions that make things run all the more smoother so that we have more time to do more stuff? That's basically the whole idea of Mercury and Virgo. So this is going to be an amazing time for brainstorming, coming up with ideas, finding solutions to, or ways that we could make the systems in our lives even more efficient. It's also amazing for anything media related, communicating related, taking a class. I have a foundations class starting on September 7th. So actually spending a retrograde is a perfect time to bring in new material, spend more time with it. So if you're thinking about learning something new, that's a good way to make use of this extended period of Mercury in Virgo, is to study something, is to learn something, to contemplate something. So yeah, that's a little bit about Mercury in Virgo. We're going to be talking a lot more about it as we move through. But keep in mind that a lot of the things that we're coming up with in this first stretch are going to be the terrain of where we're taking a few steps back and thinking, how could I tweak this or adjust this? Or maybe it's a necessity. Maybe I have to later on. So keep that in mind as you're brainstorming and coming up with ideas. Always leave a hatch open to elaborate further during the retrograde. That's a little bit about Mercury and Virgo for now. But yeah, for now, this is your astrology shot of the day, and I will catch you next time. Bye. Thanks so much for tuning in with me today. Foundations of Astrology relaunches on September 7th. You can find out more information about this 11-week course on my website, katherineurban.com. Also, you know where to find me on all platforms at AstroKatherine.